Hey, what's up, J Fam? So today we are doing a cook with me. The recipe today will be, I think it's basil chicken and coconut curry sauce.
Daddy.
What's up? You want to cook with me?
Mhm.
You gonna help?
Mhm.
All right. So here are the ingredients.
Okay.
I think I'm. Oh, so this is all the ingredients, but Worcestershire sauce, and
I know the green in
I kind
this.
of just cut it out because I think it's just used for color. So, and I kind of just forgot to
green in
get it.
this.
So here we are. Anyways, all right,
All right.
let's have some fun. All right, guys. So we're gonna start with mixing our spices. First, we got ground cumin. We're gonna take a half a teaspoon of that, and we got cinnamon, another half a teaspoon. Ground cloves, half a teaspoon. Ground cardamom, half a teaspoon. We got black pepper, half a teaspoon. Chili powder, half a teaspoon, and salt, half a teaspoon. We got ground turmeric, we'll do a quarter teaspoon. Then we're gonna mix all the seasonings together and make sure they're blended well, make sure not one seasoning is more dominant in an area than any other seasoning, and make sure we got a nice solid color with them blended together, and then we'll move on from there. Once we got those blended together, we're gonna move on to our chicken. Now, I personally like to cut off all the fat and the cartilage before I even dive into slicing and dicing the chicken. Others might not do that, but to each his own. I cut off the fat and the cartilage and then I get going. Then I slice them the long way. Just, not too thick. My wife actually likes them smaller, so that's what I do. We cut them up smaller. I slice it long way, about 7-8 pieces long, and then I turn it around, and I get like 2 at a time, maybe 3 at a time if I'm feeling good at that time, and then I dice them into even smaller pieces. All right, so once we're done chopping them up, we're gonna grab our spices that we just mixed together and sprinkle it all on the top. We're gonna use all the spices. Like I said, we're gonna make sure it's evenly coated amongst the top. Make sure you use all of it. We're gonna take it and then we're gonna blend it together to make sure the seasoning gets evenly distributed across all pieces of chicken. All right, that's done. So we're gonna put it in a nice little bowl and put it to the side and get on with the rest of our prep. So now, obviously, board cleaned off and everything. We're moved to the onions and jalapenos. I just cut off both ends of the onion and then I peel off the skin and the first layer on the outside of the onion. So it's not the actual skin that you break away, but it's the first outer layer as well. I just feel like there's still a little bit of that, filmy texture to it, so I like to take it off. And once I'm done with that, I cut it in half to make this dicing even easier. So I cut it in half and lay it on the face that I cut, and then I slice it. And then I turn it around and dice it to even smaller pieces. So we're just going to do that to both pieces here. And once both of those are done, we're going to grab another bowl and place the diced onions into that bowl. Once the onions are cut up, we're going to grab our jalapenos right here. And then we're going to cut the tops off. Now, I am going to cut them in half and actually take a little bit of the seeds out. The seeds are what control the heat in your dishes. So if you want it a little bit spicier, leave more seeds in it. If you want a little less heat, then you want to take more seeds out. But yeah, so I'm going to take out some of those seeds. I did that off camera, but you can tell there's less seeds in it, but I did leave some seeds in. I'm going to cut them in half, and then those halves I'm going to cut into thirds or fourths, just depending on how big you want the jalapenos. I didn't want them too big, but I didn't want them too small. I know, go figure. We just cut them, we slice them, and then we dice them into even smaller pieces. Once those are done, we're going to take them off the cutting board and put them in the same bowl that we put the onions in. I don't want to dirty up too many dishes. They're all going in the same thing. So we put it in the same bowl. All right, so we got those off the cutting board. We're going to grab our ginger root. And I kind of just took, maybe like a small corner of the ginger root. This was actually my very first time using raw ginger. So I kind of just, I just cut off the the skin on the outside. The skin kind of feels like an onion skin, but even thinner. I cut that off, and then I slice the ginger root into very, very thin slices, and even smaller slices after that. Because like I said, I never really cooked with it before. Now I'll tell you, like, I don't really get moved by the smell of an onion, but this ginger root, that was really strong. So prepare yourself for that. So with that smell, I decided to do a little less. And like I said, I had never cooked with it before, so I didn't want to put too much in it and ruin a dish. So I just did a very small amount, so I can figure out, hey, next time I can put a little bit more, or if that was the perfect amount. So we dice them up really, really, really small. So, you're not getting clumps of ginger at every bite, but you want that ginger taste. We're going to cut that up, and then once we're done with that, we will move on to our skillet and actually cooking. We're going to sprinkle a little olive oil onto our pan and dump our onions and jalapenos in it. And we're going to cook those for about 2 to 3 minutes, stirring and getting the olive oil throughout all the onions and jalapenos so that it cooks evenly through. Once you cook that for about 2 to 3 minutes, you want to add some garlic. Now, I did about 3 or 4 teaspoons of garlic, and I even allowed my kids to help a little bit. But we're going to put that in there, and we're going to allow this to cook for another minute or 2. And you can see I didn't measure how much olive oil I put in. So if you feel like it's getting a little dry and it needs a little bit, that you're running out, just sprinkle a little bit on top. No harm, no foul. Okay, so once we cook that for a little bit, we're going to take them out, add some more olive oil, and we're going to put our chicken in. So I got it on probably like medium high, and we want to cook that for about 5 to 6 minutes. Really until you start seeing it actually look like chicken that's edible. And one way to check if your chicken is, ready on the inside, if you poke into the chicken and, you're still getting that little pushback from it, it still needs a little bit more time. So, just tend to it, stir it around a little bit. But yeah, you're going to cook this for about 5, 6, 7 minutes on medium high, close to high, until it's, browned in. So once we're done with that, we're going to remove the chicken. We're going to add our coconut milk into the pan. Pro tip here, I didn't do it. I forgot, but you want to shake up your coconut milk first before you open it and pour it into the pan. If you don't, it's no big deal. I just took a whisk and, mixed it up together, and it started to combine. Then you let it sit there for about 2 minutes. You want it to bubble for it to get thick. So we're going to let this sit here, and you can see how thin it looks, and over time how it begins to bubble and to thicken up. So we're going to let it thicken for about maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. It didn't really take that long. And if you actually gathered all the ingredients, this is where you add the Worcestershire sauce. Like I said, it's mainly for color, and you can get away with not having it, but if you want to make sure you follow everything to the book, this is where you would add your Worcestershire sauce. All right, so once that's thickened up, we're going to take our chicken, jalapeno, and onion mixture, and we're going to just dump that right in there, and then we're going to mix it together and make sure it combines. Okay, so once we blend that together, we're going to add our garlic, and we're going to add our basil. Now, as you can see here, I didn't measure the basil, but I kind of just did a feel of, okay, this is enough. I think this will do. Basil isn't gonna overpower the dish unless you put like a ton in it. So I just went with a feel, and as you can see, that half a teaspoon was not good enough for my family, but it might be good enough for yours. I would suggest that you add a little bit more, but it's always better to have it need more salt than for it to need less salt. So always err on the side of caution, and I follow the recipes and go with their measurements, knowing that I'll probably end up adding a little bit more salt. All right, so you are all done. This is the finished product right here. I didn't get fancy and pull out our actual plates. I went and did a paper plate. Actually did not take that long to cook. Once you get through your prep, which is about 15-20 minutes, the cook time was about 15 to 20 minutes as well. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for me. Hopefully you'll find this as an easy recipe, you know, fellas, something else to cook up other than Alfredo for the ladies. And like I said, very easy and definitely, I would say, a beginner type dish. All right, guys, enjoy.